Greetings and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, where Colombia is feeling the wrath of the Mexican Revolutionary Army under the command of Dino Enca, as we have invaded to free the workers from the bourgeois leadership, who, it has been alleged, use babies as chamois leathers to clean the windscreens of their cars, among other travesties of their abuses of power. Which obviously must be the case, because Dino Enca wouldn't lie about something like that, would he? Certainly not. I don't think he would. I mean, look at this guy. That is a guy you can trust. Right there is a clone that you can trust. Everything that he says, everything that comes out of his mustachioed mouth is clearly truth and light and justice. Speaking of truth and light and justice, before we start the clock, we've got a few things that we need to do. A few things happened at the end of the last episode. We completed our national focus, which was for our extra research slot. Hurrah! Huzzah, huzzah! We have finally and at long last reached the heady heights of four research slots, which we will assign momentarily. Right now we need to pick what our next effort is going to be. Somebody clarified, sorry I've forgotten the name, but somebody clarified exactly what these research bonuses actually mean. For example here, aviation effort, it's 1 times research bonus for air doctrine, 50%. So that means when I was researching, if I were to go in and research air doctrine, had I completed that one, I would be able to get 1 research tech at 50% bonus. So once I'd used up that 50% bonus, I wouldn't get it on the next one, which I did not realize. But it is important and worth knowing, because that obviously affects the best strategies, as it were we to be min-maxing. But as we're not min-maxing, we'll just pick a national focus that we think sounds cool. And you know what sounds cool? What sounds cool to me is secret weapons. Secret weapons! It gives us 4 50% research bonuses for electronics, nuclear technology, and rocket technology. And I'd like rocket technology. I'd like nuclear technology as well. But I'm not sure that we can actually get nuclear technology in this playthrough. We'll have to see. I don't know if the Mexican Socialist Republic will ever discover the joy of the atomic weapon. It's possible. If we do, it might bring about the end of the world. But, we'll have to see. The thing is, right, 410 days to research atomic research, then another 779 days for nuclear reactor. Admittedly, this is with some ahead of time penalties on us at the moment, and then 1,393 days. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of research to go. Splitting the atom yields enormous amounts of energy and limitless destructive capability. It does actually reduce our research time by 2% if we get it. So I suppose we could. What I'd really like is to get like jet engines and sort of like skip over a lot of the early plane techs and go to these like jet fighters and jet tactical bombers. Would be quite nice. We could then basically just power down. We could almost ignore this and just kind of like power down here and jump to jet fighters and ignore all previous forms of fighter plane. I don't know if we can really get away with that. I think having no fighters at all, like 1945 is the earliest we could realistically get this, which is 4 years away. So, I mean, unless we could get it a little bit earlier with a bit of ahead of time, but that would take a lot of research focus to get to that. Haven't decided if that is exactly the path that I want to go down yet. And in the meantime, there are other things that I think are perhaps slightly more urgent, like, for example, tanks. Now, apparently, we bumped into Frank. You remember Frank from down the shops? Well, the car park out the back of the shops. He got us our 1922 destroyer that we were able to, the canoe class destroyer that we were able to hand over to the boffins and eventually develop improved versions of. He also provided our original infantry equipment, which, to be fair, it served the Revolutionary Army for a very long time. In fact, there's still quite a lot of troops out there who are still using that equipment. So we like Frank. Frank's good. Anyway, it turns out he's got his hands on a Great War tank. A Great War tank from 1918. It sounds pretty amazing. Tanks in World War I were developed separately and simultaneously by the United Kingdom and France as a means to break the deadlock of trench warfare on the Western Front. The name tank was adopted by the British during these early stages of their development. as a security measure to conceal their purpose. Early tanks were armed with machine guns and small cannons, moved slowly, and were armoured only enough to stop small arm fire. Well, that's what Frank has got, and we're gonna take one off his hands. We're gonna grab a Great War tank, and then we're going to go down some tank research and hopefully equip some of our troops with some cool tanks. I think Mexican revolutionary tanks has to be a good idea. But we will come back to having a look at that experimental research and stuff soon. I think we might dedicate a boffin to that, as crazy as that sounds. Meanwhile, at sea, we have an unread naval convoy battle report. Right here, look. It looks like the 2nd Canoe Fleet were engaged in a battle with some convoy ships and sank them all. Some German convoy ships. Good work, 2nd Canoe Fleet. You have done us proud. I don't think the 1st Canoe Fleet has managed to do anything quite so pride-inducing, but nonetheless, they are still the 1st Canoe Fleet of Mexico, and therefore they are incredibly awesome. Meanwhile, along the front line here, I think that's it for things at the moment, for alerts that we need to take care of immediately. So meanwhile, along the front line, things are going all right here. Old Gildardo has been marching forward into Colombia with reasonable success. Actually, he went a lot further than we originally intended him to go. Right now, I think it probably makes sense if we hold position here and we prepare a new offensive to actually take Bogota, and we'll build up our attack bonus again, our plan attack preparation bonus, which is currently only at 0%. 0% of course being nothing, no bonus at all. So we'll have him prepare to launch that attack, and we'll try and, I think, Colombia's actually got quite a lot of forces around here. We'll probably have to fall back from this spot because I don't think it's holdable unless we maybe send a couple of these troops over to assist. There we go. We've got some airfields here as well that we can man. In fact, we've already got some planes in there. Do we have anyone else we can send in? Not really. It might be worth freeing up some planes from elsewhere in the Republic. We've got 37 hanging out in Mexico City. Come on, flyboys. Down you come to the front line. It's time that the winged forces of Mexico saw some real action. We've also got 79 close air support in the Caribbean. We'll send them back as well. And we'll bring all of these down to, I think, this airfield. We've got 2 airfields. I mean, I suppose we could operate this one as well. What have we got? 7 tactical bombers, 170 close air support. Yeah, sure. You know what? Let's operate 2 airfields. That way we spread ourselves out and we reduce the risk of one of them becoming overrun and potentially losing our planes, if that's what happens when you become overrun. The Mexican Revolutionary Army is so awesome. We've never actually had an airfield overrun, so we wouldn't know. Anyway, how are we doing? We're bringing some troops in to shore up the defences here. It looks like he's fallen back. Meanwhile, of course, Martin Bustamante... Look, let's turn off the tail light cycles. Martin Bustamante is trying to bust his way into the port here in spectacular fashion. We can actually give him a little bit more assistance, I think. We've got some trucks coming as well, some motorised infantry. We can possibly provide some additional attack here, attack from multiple angles across the river. Martin Bustamante must bust his way onto the mainland. Meanwhile, the German Reich has capitulated. Look at this. I also, just as I read that, look, I saw here, there are German Reich tanks here. Light tanks from the German Reich have moved in to assist Colombia. This could be bad for us. However, the German Reich has capitulated. Joseph Stalin has announced that the cowardly German nation could no longer withstand the pressure from the overwhelming presence of Soviet forces throughout the country. The German government chose to flee the country and has gone into exile. Look at this. What does this mean? What does this mean for the world? It's great news, obviously. Let's just slow things down a little bit. But the whole German Reich has collapsed. The Soviet Union has overrun them and now has a finger reaching deep into the heart of Western Europe. It's a good job we're friends with the Soviet Union. They quite like us. Look, plus 35. I mean, we love them, but they quite like us too. So we have to assume that that's, going to be a good thing. Let's keep an eye on this war. We are doing some diplomatic shenanigans. Look, we've nearly broken through here. Martin Bustamante has nearly busted his way onto the shore, and when he does that, we will be nice and secure. I think we'll be able to kind of like fight our way up through here. Those German tanks are still around. I guess the fact that the German Reich capitulated did not cause them to leave, unfortunately. They are suffering quite heavy attrition, though. Unit is affected by attrition, 40%. And they've just gone to sea. That's right. You get out of the Americas, filthy German Reich forces. We don't want your kind around here, especially after you capitulated. That's good. Yeah. We're currently encouraging communism in Brazil here. 34% is all we've managed to get it up to so far. It is rising, but it's just rising very slowly. At some point, we'll actually have to stage a coup. And the higher this is, the more territory the coup will take, and the more likely to be successful the coup will be. And obviously, we will assist in that. We could wait for a bloodless revolution to occur if we just left it going for long enough. But, frankly, I think we could be waiting a long time to do that. So, research has been finished. Our engineering company has been completed. I think we'll keep this boffin on researching for the infantry company. Obviously, Gildardo is very keen for there to be more and better things researched for his peoples, for his team, for his lads, and so we're gonna totally do that. We'd actually get a 50% research bonus here for maintenance. Could be good, but I'm kind of ever worried about our manpower here a little bit, so I think field hospitals potentially is the way to go. Now, this is a revolutionary idea here. It's absolutely... we had never even considered this to be the case, but as it turns out, a casualty doesn't need to mean a dead soldier. Having immediate medical attention available for our wounded brought back to the rear is the first step towards ensuring this. And Gildardo is really all over this idea. He thinks it's fantastic. The idea that we might actually be able to fix our troops and not just leave them to bleed out in the field is something that he's really enthusiastic about. So we're going to do that. We're going to research field hospitals, and we're going to add them to our mechanized companies once they become available. We'll just quickly leave the front line as well to take a look at Canada, who we are also boosting communism with. We've only really just started at that, though, so they're only 5%. But they will come. They will come in time. I'm also quite keen to create this faction, but we can't have to wait until we've got someone to create the faction with, i.e. another communist country in the Americas, preferably green. We'll have to see. We'll have to see about that. For the time being, we'll just make do without a faction. Let's unpause it. And we will speed up time. Speed up time a little bit. Come on, Martin. We need you to bust in and take this province here, La Libertad, from the Colombian forces defending it. We want a breakthrough. We want a massive and glorious breakthrough from all sides, at all times, in some kind of spectacular fashion. Look, we can actually send Gildardo here. Can come in to assist from the top as well, just to provide additional awesomeness. We've had a naval combat occur in the Caribbean Sea. Let's just pause it and find out exactly what has happened. What has happened and where has it happened? I don't see anything. And I didn't get a battle report pop up. So let's just assume that it was not very important or significant, and probably did not involve the first canoe fleet from Mexico. Look, we've nearly got a breakthrough here. Martin Bustamante is about to bust his way in. There he is. There's our lad. Good work, my son. Right. Martin. Well, I don't know why you think you want to go all the way up there, but frankly, you do not. We want a front line, just this bit. Just that little bit there, look. That exactly like that. And then we want you to offensive line into Bogota. And that involves taking there, and there. Exactly. That is precisely the plan that we wanted you to formulate, Martin. It's like we're like telepathically connected. It's very impressive. We are, of course, being attacked from the rear by fairly considerable forces, which is not good. So we better shore up ourselves here a little bit. Look, he can go in there. We've also got our mountaineer experts in as well. So let's bring them up to assist. Excellent. Let's unpause it and let our glorious and fantastic campaign of Colombian domination continue. How's our planning bonus coming along? 18%, 18%. Obviously, Martin's are probably going to be a bit less. Oh no, he's actually 18% as well. Good for you, Martin. Good for you. Look, we've got a whole mass of requests. Invite to faction, United Kingdom. No, definitely not. Non-aggression pacts, we also don't want anything to do with your non-aggression pacts. I'm afraid we want to be our own faction. Australia wants us to sign. No. No to all of you crazy fools out there in the rest of the world. You know what, I think I might just create a faction now. Should we find somebody to create a faction with? Obviously, it can't actually be Brazil, unfortunately, because, where are we? Create faction. They will not accept. They have a negative 97, a negative 71, and 0 positive reasons for joining our faction, which is a bit of a shame. Who else is there out here? We couldn't... oh, you know what? We should actually think about justifying some war goals as well whilst we're at this, who have we got up here? Venezuela. We might well want to conquer Venezuela. Ecuador. We might well want to conquer Ecuador as well. Ecuador's nice and small. We could probably take them quickly. Let's start justifying war on Ecuador. Oh, look, they've got the Galapagos Islands too. Nice. All right, we'll have your Galapagos Islands and your Ecuador itself. I'm assuming, of course, the war with Colombia is going to end successfully in the not-too-distant future. Hopefully it will. Even if it doesn't, to be fair, we could bring a few forces down here to capture Ecuador. I mean, how hard could it be? Dino Enka calls to aid the Ecuadorian workers. Yes, my friends, once again it is a speech wherein I shall tell you the many and valuable reasons why we must go to war once again with yet another country in the Americas. This time it is Ecuador. A country where it is known that they will go about the streets, the bourgeois elite, with their money, flinging it at the poor and the downtrodden, and demanding that they dance for their coins. Can we accept such outrageous behavior from a neighbor of the Mexican Socialist Republic? Well, I say no, but I shall leave it to you to decide. Yes, or indeed, we could just crush their bourgeois dictatorship, which I agree would be a good idea. Anyway, look, we were looking for somebody to go to war with. Let's take a look at... not go to war with. We were looking for somebody to form a faction with. Create a faction. The Republic of Peru do not want to form a faction with us, unfortunately. Anybody in America will do at this point. Faction, no. Argentina, come on, Argentina, no. They don't want to either. Concordia! Wow, they've got a greatly named, a really cool name for their ruling party, though. Partido Liberal! No, they're not going to want one, are they? Uruguay? No, Uruguay are democratics. Paraguay are indeed communist. And look, they will form a faction with us. Paraguay, it's another one of Dino Enka's clones. It's probably why he's there. We can totally go for it. You know what? We're going to do it. Should we do it? Should we just create a faction? Let's just slow speed down. I think we're going to create a faction. Your faction name here forms a military alliance with Paraguay. Both nations will be able to join each other in war. If any volunteers have been sent or received between us, they will be sent back. Great. You know what? We're going to do it. We are going to create the Green Dawn. It is... What colour is Paraguay? It looks kind of green from here, but as it turns out, it's blue. The Green and Blue Dawn. But you know what? It will do. The Green Dawn faction has been formed. They will accept. We're going to do it. We're going to form a faction. This could be a terrible idea. An echo from the future said that this would be a terrible idea. But I feel the need. The need for a faction. The Green Dawn has been formed. World news. The dawn of Green Dawn. Despite the recent Soviet focus on communism in one country, the internationalist roots of the movement transcend borders. This solidarity with workers around the world was a key element in Dino Enka's speech today when the Green Dawn was announced. Going beyond a political international, this is an alliance that binds the country's military, with both regimes promising to aid each other against outside threats. Whether it will act as a sword or a shield for the communist revolution remains to be seen. Together we will never be defeated. Paraguay, you're with us. I'm glad somebody wanted to join our faction. It's just us and Paraguay. hopefully Brazil will join in the near future as well. It's nice actually because they can. Paraguay has accepted the offer to join our faction. It's nice because when we do eventually go up against, or when we trigger the revolution in Brazil, hopefully Paraguay can get stuck in as well and can help out. You know, that could be cool. And also, you know, they can help with a bit of Bolivia action here. It's going to be good, I tell you. I mean, they're not green, which is not ideal, but you know what? At this point, I think we'll take whatever we can get. We would like to nice to have Uruguay as well, but they're kind of a bit small and a bit democratic, unfortunately. Anyway, that is all stuff which is not going to affect us, hopefully, for a little while. Let's just speed up the clock here a little bit and complete this glorious attack on Colombia. Everybody, go. It's go, go, go time. Go, go, go. We are all going. We're going in. And already we are losing on all fronts. It's not exactly what I had hoped for, to be honest with you. Let's try and... Alright, hold on. Stop. Stop a second. Stop a second there, Gallardo. You do not appear to be having much joy attacking Bogota across the rivers, so why don't you stop? We'll bring these three over here. We'll wait for this attack to hopefully succeed. At least through war there will be an end to this conflict. Dino Enka questions the motives of Ecuador. There is no doubt that Ecuador is preparing for war after my last speech. The bourgeois elite heard that we wanted to stop their filthy practice of paying for people to dance in the street for them like some kind of a monkey. Well, we shall not take idly threats of war from our neighbors, especially not when we're at war with other neighbors. At least through war there will be an end to this conflict. Good. You know what? You lot, switch over to join this team and join in the attack, because it seems like poor old Martin Bustamante was operating with relatively small numbers of troops there, which is probably why that attack was not winning. We're still not actually winning, despite our glorious air support and things. However, these boys have arrived, and we're going to send them in as well. Come on, Mountaineers. You must be able to swing this battle in our favor. Even though you have to cross a river, you are mountaineering special forces. You can just dive into that river, swim across it, and come out doing some kind of like combat roll as you come out of the river and sort of come up shooting up the mountain using your awesome mountaineering skills to overcome this 6th infantry unit. We're still losing this battle. Come on, boys. This is not good enough. All right, everyone in on the attack. Everyone that we have. Great War Tank. Frank has come through. Frank has finally come through with his Great War Tank. He's like rumbled up the streets of Mexico City in this like knackered old 1918 rusted tank with like, it's like probably got a shell hole in one part of it and like lots of dints and scrapes. Maybe there's still like, you know, some like arm bone or something caught in the tracks going round and round with it. Anyway, yeah, it's arrived, which is great, and we should get new research started. Dino Inca questions Ecuadorian sovereignty. We have decided that the Ecuadorian sovereignty belongs to us. Once again, we have found another of these old letters from Zorro himself, which has laid out quite clearly that Ecuador was once and will again be Mexican territory. We shall make this so. We must rally behind this. So let's research something new. In fact, let's go straight for heavy tanks. The reason I'm going to go down the heavy tank path here is because it's basically one step to heavy tanks, 1934. We may or may not build any 1934 tanks, but then the boffins can go straight onto 1941 heavy tanks. Nice, advanced, awesome heavy tanks, and then we can kind of like sideways research across here to medium tanks as well, 1941 medium tanks. And we'll just kind of skip over light tanks. We Mexicans, we don't believe in light tanks. We think if you're going to build a tank, it should at the very least be medium, if not heavy. Or possibly super heavy. Ideally, super heavy and or modern. We want those sorts of things, and we will get them in due course. But not just yet. It'll take a little while before those things come on stream. We need to win this war. We do not have enough forces here to win this war at the moment, it seems. Yes, you can come and help. That's a good idea. You can also go in there and help. 80. NGU, 82. We're winning! We're winning the battle! National focus complete. Secret weapons. Excellent. We can start researching some cool secret weapons in the near future. Should we go down armament effort and just get some more factories? I think that's probably the next best thing to do. Yeah, let's do that. Armament effort. We'll get an extra military factory. And that will be good for making more military things. Meanwhile, more non-aggression pacts keep pouring in. China? No. Norway? No. Denmark? Certainly not. United Kingdom? Get lost. Greece? I don't think so. And of course, the Netherlands? It's just not going to happen, I'm afraid. So there will be no non-aggression to be had here. No non-aggression at all. Come on, boys. We need to break through here. We need a breakthrough. This is a much tougher fight. I think it's partly because our forces are still a little bit weak, really. I think maybe we'll take Ecuador, rather than going straight to war with the likes of Venezuela up here. We will instead just kind of like chill out for a bit, get some mechanized infantry, modernize some of our divisions a little bit, and generally make ourselves bit more in a bit better fighting shape. And we'll also try and like trigger this revolution in Brazil and get Brazil on our side as well, because it'd be nice to have Brazil helping us when we attack Venezuela and Bolivia and all these other South American places. And then we shall turn our eye ever northward to the United States and Canada beyond, which hopefully we will be able to trigger our own Canadian revolution, and they will accept the one true path of Mexican socialism in all of its glory, or at least some form of socialism. Anyway, we're losing again. This is a tough old division that he's got here. Very tough. We're losing here as well. Look, in fact, this force is going to have to withdraw. Why don't you pull back here? We could be on the back foot here, you know. Really be on the back foot. We might have to. We're not going to make a breakthrough. We're not going to make a breakthrough. Hold your position. Hold your position. Start planning again, boys. We have not made the breakthrough that we wanted to make, and so we need to think things through once again. Have we got any fresh forces to bring in? Let's bring in these motorized infantrymen. Everyone else can just get their organization built back up again, get their preparation built back up again. Stop that attack. Stop. Hold position. We've failed to make any kind of meaningful breakthrough here at all. Oh, well, that's not entirely true. Martin Bustamante has made a breakthrough and has made landfall, and that is at least something. Unfortunately, really nobody else has at all. Oh, he's got 11 troops there. We really need to just take Bogota. We really need to take Bogota. Can we make like a surprise attack on Bogota with all of these troops? Come on. And we need to keep this airfield intact. Improved infantry equipment 2 has been completed. Excellent. Good. We could do with some improved infantry equipment right about now. Maybe like what we're doing for doctrines. We've currently got a doctrine on the research. Artillery. We haven't researched new artillery since 1934. Let's improve our artillery. That obviously will help us as well. Very much so. Look, we're winning substantially here. Let's just unpause it. That attack has not been terribly successful. It's not doing like... I mean, we're losing. We are losing, but we're losing in a spectacular manner. Can we get this up to a win if we just send everybody in? Everybody attack! Everyone attack Bogota! This is it. This is Gildardo's cunning plan. This is where he's like, aha! Yes! I devised a plan some time ago in which we will sneak into Bogota wearing nuns' outfits. And that is precisely what he's done. He has led his troops down into Bogota on like just a pretense at being nuns on the run. Gildardo has executed his incredibly cunning plan. He's dressed up 10 of his best men in nuns' outfits and marched in with them into Bogota, just kind of like waving at the defending forces, saying, I bless you, my son, I bless you. We are coming on a pilgrimage to visit the holy sites of Bogota and bless you in your holy conflict with the Mexicans. But actually, underneath those nuns' habits, they had the very finest infantry equipment too, and indeed mines, and throwing them all about themselves, they have stormed the city in what can only be described as the most spectacular win of the battle. Look at that. Whilst they weren't looking, I mean, it's just a stunning move. And as a result, Colombia has capitulated. The incredible cunningness of Gallardo has won the day for the Mexican Socialist Republic. Wow, I'm really pleased about that. I mean, you know, as it happens, I was concerned. It did look a little bit like we were not going to be able to take Colombia quite so easily. They were throwing up some really serious defense there, but we were surrounding the capital on four sides. A little bit of distraction in forces attacking elsewhere, and they were able to draw away enough forces that Gallardo and his awesome nun attack plan was able to execute successfully. And we have taken Bogota and the country of Colombia. Viva Mexico! Wow, that was a glorious win. Dino Enker has announced that the cowardly Colombian nation could no longer withstand the pressure from the overwhelming presence of Mexican forces, and indeed nuns or Mexican troops in nun outfits, or something along those lines. The Colombian government chose to flee the country and has gone into exile. Their main forces have capitulated, and the Mexican Socialist Republic is now in control of their home area. Though the war against what remains of the Axis continues elsewhere, this is a great victory for the Mexican Socialist Republic. Viva Mexico! Excellent. There are a few pockets of Colombia left, which we shall send our forces in to secure, obviously. Also this up here, look, let's send some forces in here. This looks like it's like Denmark. Denmark controls this location. What's Denmark doing controlling this location? It's clearly it was part of Colombia, and Colombia capitulated to Mexico. What do we owe Denmark? I ask you. Could we just attack it? Non-aggression pact request. Okay, let's. Siam wants us to sign a non-aggression pact. Let's just clear all these non-aggression pacts. Romania, we're not interested. Mongolia, oh, well, I might have been interested with Mongolia. South Africa, no. Tanu Tuva, I don't even know where you are. Poland, I'm afraid not. And the People's Republic of China wants us to sign a pact of non-aggression. Not right now, China, but possibly in the future, as we believe that you are probably communist friends and allies. Let's just pause it there. Let's pause it there. In fact, that's probably a good place to bring this to a close this time around. Colombia has capitulated. The two green countries, the two mighty green countries of the Americas, have joined their borders up. Now, if we can just convince the Brazilians to join us in a glorious communist revolution and become a socialist republic like ourselves, and indeed to join the Green Dawn faction, which now exists, then hopefully then all will be well, and indeed people will be happy. What is this? What is this? Denmark. What are you doing, Denmark? Why are you in Santo Dominico? Why is there Denmark troops in Santo Dominico? There's 6 of them. Is this like, do we need to declare war on Denmark? Where are you, Denmark? Where are you? What even are you? You're a democracy. You are a member of the Allies. We might have to justify war against Denmark. I mean, I don't see any other choice. They've got troops in our borders against our wishes. They seized a section of country that clearly should belong to us after we took it from Colombia. And generally, they're being quite aggressive. Of course, declaring war on them does mean that we will be declaring war on all of the allies everywhere. In fact, look, they are. It's been kind enough to highlight all of the allies for us. There are a lot of allies. Maybe, well, I don't know. I know not. I know not what we can do here. I shall have to ponder upon it. And indeed, if you have any suggestions, please do let me know. But until next time, when we decide what to do about the perfidious Denmarkians. Danes. Until next time, when we decide what to do about the perfidious Danes and their bold disregard for the territorial integrity of the Mexican Socialist Republic, and indeed their allies. But until then, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I have been Weird Wizard, master of the Mexican Socialist Republic, conqueror of Colombia, and I will see you later.